Hi, today I'm starting off in the office because I have a lot of miniature work to do today in the office, and that's basically getting my latest issue of my magazine to the post office. So I have to, Roger's got to do dresses for it, and then I put it in plastic bags. So I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about how that magazine started. So they merged two magazines in England, and that meant less for us to read. And I woke up one morning, probably about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, was wandering around the house and thought, darn it, we should have a magazine for Australians and New Zealanders. So I decided I would publish a magazine for us. So I hit Roger with the idea at breakfast time and ran it past my mother, and they both thought, oh yes, it's one of Jill's harebrained schemes, because I've always been an entrepreneur. And I surprised them because 2 months later I had it printed, a really good quality print. I'll just show the one that I've just done. It has really lovely weight to it, and the pages are really good, and I use a really top-notch local printer, and quality has always been the thing for me. And so there we have it. I got my magazine off and running, and when I get to the final sort of time, I send a black and white copy off to a friend of mine who's an ex-librarian, and she will do all the editing and the fixing up of the errors. I haven't been too bad with this one. So I find that I have very little in the way of errors in my magazine, which is really great. And so this is my other little comfort zone, and I have my sub-editor who's having a snooze at the moment, and the security who's also having a snooze at the moment. And so it can get quite cosy in here with Roger and I and Ginger and Safi. And then I have the cry cut machine, so quite often I'll be working with that. It runs off my computer, and also my 3D printer. And we can hear that clattering away in the background at times while I'm doing things. So it's all nice and compact, and I don't mind being out here. I usually spend a morning out here, and now I think it's time for me to scarper off back to the studio and do some minis. Okay, so I'm just finishing off my tail of my ginger cat onesie that I'm making. It's a bit of whimsy. And I've done the socks, I've knitted socks, I've knitted this little top. I've tried to make it fluffy by brushing it, and I succeeded a little bit. So the doll's not finished yet. I haven't got his head in there, and it'll have a little fluffy white tummy with buttons. So this is his tail that's just been done now. And I just have to sew in my ends, sew on the tail, decide where I'm going to be putting it. You think there, sort of there, isn't it really? Sorry. And I'll just stitch that in. I've got a big needle, I'm not really organised. Should have used a longer length. I'm only just stitching through the wool. I'm not going to stitch it through his underclothes. And then with a bit of luck I'll get that tied up and we'll be fine. We'll be all finished then. And so then I've just got to finish the doll. I've just got to put his head on. Oh, blow. There we go. All done. I should have put maybe a wire, but who knows? You don't want to be too fussy, do you, really? There is his little tail, his little ears. Okay. So after showing you my little den, where I do my office work and my designing and all the other bits and pieces, I came out to the studio and I managed to do some work on the Beacon Hill house, and I did the railings at the top. I made a start on them, and I've worked out how to do the stairs up to there. They're just sitting there. They've been glued, but not permanently. And I also made a few more shoes and handbags for Amelia. And then Roger had caught me last night knitting, and when I've got nothing to do at night, I'll pick up the knitting needles and I'll knit something in 12 scale usually. And I had been knitting this little onesie, a ginger cat onesie, and he'd caught me at it and taken a photograph of it. And as well as the photo of me knitting it, he also caught me sewing it up. And now I'm going to show you the finished article. And it's only a prototype at the moment. I'm not happy with his head. But I did the socks, little fat tummy, tail. So it's not too bad. But I'll do about 3 before I'm happy with them. And this was inspired by a little teddy in a onesie that a friend of mine, Leslie, had made. Now, Leslie does Slay Bears, L-E-S bears, and you can see that on the internet. And she made this lovely little teddy that I couldn't resist. And she's put him in a tiger onesie. She hasn't knitted it, she's just used the material. And I have to show you the tiny wee details. There's a little tie there with a bead on it. Little laced up shoes. Round the back she's got a little heart sewn on there. And it's just so cute. I couldn't resist that. And it's in my little collection. So that had inspired me to knit my onesie. And now I'll have to knit a few before I'm happy with them. But that's just the way it goes. I'm a bit like Rust really, I never sleep.